Since the last two segments were about box office bombs, let's end off this episode of TMRP by talking about some positive news, and that is all of the box office records that the Super Mario Bros. Movie just set. And I'm pulling these from this article from Variety that is titled, Super Mario Bros. Movie Box Office, All the Records Smashed on Opening Weekend. It's a blockbuster! Yahoo! Okay, I added the Yahoo part at the end, but I really wanted to do my Mario impression there. The Super Mario Bros. Movie, an animated adventure based on the classic video game, crushed the competition with its jaw-dropping $204.6 million domestic and $377 million global debut over the long Easter weekend. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the original projection was it was going to make $368 million globally and like $185 million domestically. Those numbers obviously went up. Those results far exceeded expectations and even surpassed the starts of recent installments of Universal's biggest franchises, like Jurassic World Dominion at $145 million domestically, and Fast and Furious 9 at $70 million domestically. So expect a sequel to be announced faster than you can say, "Let's go!" Quote, the box office just kept growing and growing. Marvel's Jim Orr, Universal's president of domestic distribution. It's a tremendous worldwide debut, and the movie has a clear runway. The PG film, which cost Universal, Illumination, and Nintendo roughly $100 million to bring to the big screen, thrived as the de facto choice among family crowds who have been starved of compelling theatrical offerings since last December's release, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which was also, I think it was made by DreamWorks, but was distributed by Universal, and even that movie made close to $500 million worldwide. It precisely made $479,826,665 worldwide. But the kid-friendly film also managed to expand its reach beyond parents with young ones, thanks to a helping dose of nostalgia and positive word of mouth, reviews not so much. Mario turned into a 4-quadrant blockbuster, resonating with males and females, young and old, who grew up with Mario, Luigi, and other inhabitants of the fantastical Mushroom Kingdom. Well, yeah, who is honestly shocked by that? With how big the Mario series, with how big the Mario gaming series is, everybody knows about Super Mario Brothers. Even if you're not a gamer, that's how big the Mario series is. Quote, the film is based on incredible IP which is beloved by people of different generations, says Veronica Kwan Vandenberg, president of distribution for Universal Pictures International. Just because Mario is adapted from one of the most popular video games doesn't mean the film was preordained for blockbuster status. In fact, 1993's disastrous live-action Super Mario Bros., starring Bob Hoskins as Mario and John Leguizamo as Luigi, has become a legendary example of Hollywood's failure to properly translate video game stories from consoles to cinemas. But to be fair to the 1993 live-action Super Mario Bros. Movie, I think four Super Mario Brothers games came out. I think did Super Mario World come out in 92? It was like, I think that one came out in 92 or 93. I don't remember exactly. Someone will probably correct me. It was either 92 or 93 when that came out, but still, the live-action Super Mario Bros. Movie was only based on 4 video games, right? How many more Mario games have come out between 1993 and 2023? I don't have that exact number pulled up in front of me, but it was a lot more than just 4. Even though critics were mixed on the new adaptation, featuring the voices of Chris Pratt as Mario, Charlie Day as Luigi, Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, and Jack Black as Bowser, opening weekend audiences were enthusiastic and awarded the film an A Cinema score. Directed by Aaron Hovarth and Michael Jelenic, the Super Mario Bros. Movie follows Mario and Luigi, Brooklyn-based plumbers who get stuck in the mystical Mushroom Kingdom and help to stop the villainous Koopa King from world domination. Will the Super Mario Bros. Movie become the first movie of the year to hit $1 billion at the global box office? Many analysts believe it'll cross the coveted milestone with ease. Until the working-class plumbers achieve ultimate box office glory, here are all the records that were super smashed in the film's opening weekend. And before we get into the records, I just want to say that I've heard that this movie is really good if you understand like all of the references that are being made. However, what I am really saddened by is I have not heard anyone say that this movie makes reference to Mr. Belvedere when he played King Koopa at the Ice Capades.
You know something? I don't even want it. I just do it for the sheer exquisite pleasure of making trouble. Minions! Koopa Troopers, attack the memory! Camarada, erase the database! Goombas, zip your pockets! Koopa Paratrooper, do a hard time and a hard drive! And you, my little Spiny, do what you want, only do it now! All systems down! I am a rude, hearty dude, mean as I can be. Ha ha! Oh yes, don't mess around with me. I'm conniving and I'm crude, tricky as a fox. Ha ha! Oh yes, I'll beat you to your top. Yes! Pretty soon you'll give up the fight. I must be sneaky. You will turn your back and I'll catch you off your guard. You can never win tonight. I am far too sneaky. When it comes to winning, Buster, I am number one. I'm a rude, hearty dude, mean as I can be. Ha ha! Oh yes, don't mess around with me. I'm conniving and I'm crude, tricky as a fox. Ha ha! Oh yes, I'll beat you to your stuff.
Oh, what the...
Shout out to James Borland for bringing that clip to my attention about a year ago at this point. Yes, that was a real clip from the Ice Capades, I believe back in like 88 or 89. I don't remember exactly. But still, how can you make a Super Mario Brothers movie and not make reference to Mr. Belvedere as Bowser, despite how bad it was? It doesn't matter. It's fucking great. But anyway, okay, here's all the records that were smashed opening weekend. For the domestic box office, highest grossing debut of 2023, surpassing Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania at $106.1 million. Biggest 5-day, Wednesday through Sunday opening of all time, overtaking 2009's Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen at $200 million. Note, this stat is specifically for movies that open on a Wednesday. It's nowhere near the biggest opening weekends in general, which belong to Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Infinity War, and their 250 million plus starts over 3 days. Highest grossing debut for Illumination, beating 2015's Minions, and its 3-day opening weekend of $115.7 million. Second biggest debut ever for an animated movie, outpacing 2016's Finding Dory and its 3-day opening weekend of $135.1 million, and following Incredibles 2 and its 3-day debut of $183 million. Highest grossing debut for a video game adaptation, outranking 2022 Sonic the Hedgehog 2 at $72.1 million. Now, the international box office records. Biggest opening of 2023, ahead of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania at $117.1 million. Second biggest animated opening of all time, behind Frozen 2 at $228.2 million. Biggest Illumination opening of all time. Biggest video game opening of all time. Yes, the prior record holder for biggest video game opening of all time went to 2016's Warcraft. And most people don't even remember Warcraft, and I don't really blame you. And now the global box office records that it broke. Biggest opening of 2023, bringing down Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania at $225.3 million. Highest Illumination opening of all time, passing 2013's Despicable Me 2 at $208 million. Biggest video game opening of all time, eclipsing 2016's Warcraft at $210 million. Highest animated opening weekend ever for IMAX with $21.6 million. And I know some people are rejoicing because here are all these records that this movie has set, and guess what? None of them went to Disney. In fact, Disney's last animated movie, Strange World, if you are to believe this report from Variety, Disney's Strange World to lose $100 million in theatrical run. So you have Disney that is losing money because remember in the film industry, you are only as good as your last movie. So Disney's last animated movie lost $100 million in its theatrical run, whereas Universal's Super Mario Brothers movie set all of these records and in fact dethroned Disney's prior record, with Frozen 2 being the biggest Hold on, let me make sure I'm reading this right. Second biggest animated opening of all time, behind Frozen 2 at $228.2 million. But still, it beat Frozen 2 internationally. And you know what? I'm reminded of this very old rumor. This was back in 2015. I just want to stress this was rumor that Nintendo and Disney working on deal for movies, video games, and toys coming from Game Rant, once again, published January 24th, 2015. There's never a shortage of rumors to be found within the gaming industry, but the problem with most of these is validating the source from, which is true. The latest rumor concerning Nintendo, however, comes from a source that provides accurate information on the entirety of the third wave of Amiibo before they were revealed, as well as the newly announced Skylanders crossover featuring Bowser and Donkey Kong, which makes us inclined to report on it. Again, this is Game Rant, not me. With that said, take this report with a dump trunk worth of salt. Allegedly, Nintendo and Disney have made a tentative deal across a medley of mediums, including games, movies, and interactive toys. Judging by the report, the deal, if legitimate, still isn't inked, but it would likely result in a game where Mickey Mouse and Super Mario finally come face to face after all these years. If this rumor was true, whoever at Disney completely bumblefucked this deal. Again, I want to stress again that this is all rumor and innuendo, so take it with a grain of salt. But still, if this rumor is true that Nintendo was looking to partner with Disney, if I were the guy that bumblefucked this deal at Disney, I would be kicking myself in the nuts from here until Timbuktu and back, knowing all of the records that the Super Mario Brothers movie just set. Again, hindsight always being 2020, but still a Super Mario Brothers movie in 2015, 2016 probably still would have done just as well as a Super Mario Brothers movie in 2023, and it certainly would have done a hell of a lot better than a Super Mario Brothers movie that released in 1993. And guys, we're going to go ahead and end TMRP right here. I know I finally did a 6th segment. I've been promising it for the last 2 weeks. I never did it because I either wasn't in the mood or wasn't feeling good. So this is the 1 week I didn't promise the 6th segment, and this is the 1 week I actually delivered on the 6th segment. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this right here. If you stuck around this long and watched all these segments, thanks so much for doing so. And if you've been following me long enough, you know I'm terrible at ending these videos or this podcast series. So I will just see you guys next time.